Hey, Facebook fam. So today I want to talk to you about reinvention. So what's reinvention? Reinvention is simply when you're doing one thing and you realize you want to be doing another thing. So how do you figure out how do you reinvent? And is reinvention something that's for you? Now, every generation from millennials to Gen Xers to boomers goes through reinventions, and they happen really easily at stages that you would expect, right? The millennials go from being students to becoming early adults. The Gen Xers have kids and they're growing and then their parents are getting older. Boomers end up retiring. It turns out a study by Encore and Stanford, Encore.org and Stanford got together. They put together a study that found that 1/3 of Americans, so that's a third of Americans over 50 years old, 34 million people in all, actually have decided they want to do work that matters to them much more in the second half of their lives. So whether you're a millennial and you're feeling this, like, I want to do something else, I want to do something more, my work's got to matter more, or if you're a Gen Xer who's feeling like there has to be some kind of connection between the work that you're doing and this calling that you want to serve, or if you're a boomer and you want your work to matter more, you should be open to this reinvention. And reinvention happens with everyone, no matter what it is or who you're doing. I mean, Grandma Moses didn't pick up a paintbrush till she was 80 years old. And Steve Martin just became a dad for the very first time at 67. And Madonna, who I grew up loving, has reinvented herself every single decade. I mean, even the last James Bond movie, Skyfall, was all about James Bond trying to figure out how to be old. So we're all trying to figure out this idea of reinvention. And I went through it too. A few years ago, I sold the firm that I founded and helped build to the women who came on and helped build it even bigger. And I sold it for something that gave me about a 5-year runway to figure out who I was and what I want to do in this next stage of my life. And I had always been the person who loved being stage left. Like, my favorite place is being off to stage left and like letting the sun shine and amplifying the voice of the person who's in center stage. And I was a super reluctant CEO. But in that role of CEO, I could help shine the light on other people. And once I sold that firm, I had to figure out who I wanted to be now in this next stage, in this new reinvention. And I got asked to do a talk, and that talk got some attention. And then I got asked to do another talk, and people started offering me money to speak. And I was like, what? This is a job? Like, who does this job? And it turns out that now I spend my time in center stage, and I had to reinvent myself to get myself to that place where I was comfortable in center stage. Super weird, really uncomfortable for me to be there, but it all came down to me finding my consonance, to figuring out what it was I wanted to do, how I wanted to change the world, who I wanted to be, the kind of life I wanted to have, the kind of lifestyle I wanted to have, and what my work, the role my work could play in doing that. And so I had to figure out what my calling was. And my calling is that I want to help make people's lives better. I want to see their greatness and I want to reflect it back on them. And when I do that, the way to do that, I have to connect to that work by being there and being present for people. Now, my old firm contributed to my ability to do that because it gave me this 5-year runway to do it. And now I was able to be in control of exactly how I speak, when I speak, to whom I speak. So I was able to find my consonance and my reinvention by figuring out this combination of my calling, my connection, the contribution, and the control that I have over it. So I want you to think about what it is you want to do, that calling that you have, that thing that you want to serve more than anything else. And then, does the work that you're doing today connect you to that? And if it doesn't, it's time to think about a reinvention and what it is that you can be doing to get there. Now, I want you to comment here in the comments about a reinvention that you've had, maybe one that you want to have, maybe something you'd like to have but you're not quite sure how to have. I'm going to go back through all of the comments, and I would love to talk more about it now and in future Facebook Lives. If you like what you're hearing, if you think this is kind of cool, sign up for my monthly Limitless letter, which is the loving kick in the ass you never quite knew you needed. And I'll be in your inbox once a month with ideas about how to reinvent, how to find your confidence, and how to live a life that is limitless. Have a great day.